Everybody to the July 23rd Planning Board meeting. That being said, we're going to start with the BAR. First on the agenda is 6-19, 24.5 Main Street.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Louis Roan. I'm the architect for 24.5 William Street, and what we're looking to do is take down, of course, the rear enclosed porch, and using the same footprint, expand the building up to the second floor, put in a full basement, renovate the interior of the house, and expand the second floor bedrooms. So there's really, it's the same footprint of the house, it's just we're looking to go up and put in a proper foundation for what we're doing.
Supposed to get this up on the board.
Yeah.
Talk to us about colors.
Sorry, it's turned on there. JB thought we could do it this way, but it's rotated. You can rotate it up if this is.
Yeah, rotate clockwise.
There we go.
Go down.
Clockwise.
There you go. You might have to hit it once or twice. 3 times.
This might have been in a previous month's package.
It's, I don't know.
It was.
There we go.
It was on last month. And they were,
I think we're actually on 2 months ago.
Yeah, been held over for a few months.
I-
So nice to see you finally.
Yeah.
So with that said, just walk us through what you guys are proposing.
So basically, you can see the dotted line on the lower elevation on the right-hand side. That's basically the extent of the footprint of the house today, and it's a 1-story enclosed porch. We're looking to take that down back to the back wall of the house, and using the same footprint, go up to the second floor. And if you can just pan down a little bit to show the elevation up above, you can see that the rear elevation is basically a continuation of the footprint and the pitch of the roof all the way through. We're going to be replacing the windows, putting in the proper egress windows from the bedrooms, redoing all the insulation, and the house is currently in the process of being re-sided in a blue siding that they just want to continue and wrap the whole house.
Okay. The vinyl siding?
It's a vinyl siding, yes.
And just some of the other colors, I guess, on the trim?
It's blue and white.
Blue and white.
I think, are there any
Photos?
photographs?
I know we have them. These.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Those are, basically that's what it's going to look like and wrap around. White trim, blue siding.
Two-family right now. Off-street parking, how are you dealing with parking?
Right now, there is no parking. It's a half lot. It's kind of an existing non-conforming. We were trying to get a parking variance as part of this initial application, try and get a driveway. But as it stands right now, the odds of that are going to need additional consideration. So we want to get our building department permit to finish up the house before we kind of talk about a parking spot, because I think that would involve more discussion, and the homeowner's antsy to just kind of wrap things up.
And no variances right now required for whatever you're proposing here?
Well, there is a variance required because it is an existing non-conforming. The footprint of the existing house does not meet side yard setbacks. We already we're going to be going to the zoning board for a variance afterwards. We met, was it earlier this month or last month?
It was earlier this month.
Earlier this month to kind of talk about the zoning conditions that we're going to be looking
Because
for.
typically you want to do that simultaneous with what you're submitting here, so that sort of it's coordinated review, if you will.
The application is in, but they had to amend it. There were some errors on the application. ZBA has been canceled for this month, so it will be on the September agenda.
Okay. So whatever we do, we make it subject to the zoning board granting that side yard variance.
Exactly.
Good enough. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Questions from the board? Okay. Questions from the public? Okay. That said, I'd like to call for a motion to approve, subject to the zoning board issuing the appropriate variances.
I'll move.
Jeff, get a second?
I'll second.
Bob? Great.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
we'll stick on the BAR, so we'll jump to 83 Main Street, 14-19.
Oh.
This is where it was from the OLSL is.
Right.
Was.
Oh, it's-
I believe it's in the district, I'm assuming it's similar to the giant was now. Hi, Joanne, how you doing?
Hi, good evening. I'm Joanne Tall. I'm the architect working with Hudson Link, which currently owns 83 Main Street. It's a stucco, 2.5-story, two-family. It's going to remain a two-family. It has interior renovations, but the exterior, we are changing some windows and adding a dormer in the rear, at the rear roof scape. So we're changing colors. Currently, the front more historic part of the building is stucco and will remain stucco. We are simply painting it. Putting new windows at the front and the east side. The east side for egress purposes for the bedrooms. We're raising the roof slightly because the whole roof and the framing needs to be replaced. It's woefully undersized. New insulation packages. The rear of the building, in the past, there seems to be some addition that was clad in fiberglass, vinyl siding. We're going to change that to hardy board with white trim. You can see samples. It's going to be this hardy board but smooth. It's going to be hardy trim in the white but smooth. This is what smooth looks like. The stucco will be this color. The windows are Marvin this color, and the window trim and all existing wood trim will be painted that color, a white. It's all in the handout, but it's good to see the samples.
So that you're adding a third window on the facade and the dormer is in the back, is that you mean?
Correct. That window on the facade was once there. It had been blocked in, so we're reactivating it. The Marvin windows will be integrity, wood Ultrex with simulated divided light, with the mutton pattern shown on the drawings.
So I'm looking at the rear of the house, and I'm assuming the lower level is an apartment or a dwelling unit?
Yeah, the first floor is the entry and, correct. And there's a mechanical room when you're looking at the back on the right-hand side, there's a dedicated mechanical room.
So the pathway to get to Main Street is the same, on the same side as where the stairs? Is that sort of-
No, really the other side.
The other side, okay.
And I'm sorry, I know you said this, but could you just explain again, the stucco is staying or it's going to be covered by the hardy?
The stucco will remain and be repaired as required and painted.
And so the hardy board or hardy plank is going
In the rear.
in the rear?
It's
Okay.
where it's currently vinyl sided.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Anybody else questions?
So aesthetically, the front is just gonna remain stucco?
Correct.
Okay.
Staff, any questions? Guys?
Are you doing any work to the roof, just above the porch, or is that? The roof above the porch?
Yes.
Is there any work being done to that, or that's?
Yes, it will be all new roofing. On the little package, we are using Certainteed roofing product, Landmark Series, Silver Birch, like the third page maybe. So, and new gutters and, you know,
So essentially, we're gonna see an entirely new structure from the outside.
well, except for the stucco and,
Except for the front.
you know, correcting some of the quirky anomalies of some repairs that have gone wrong.
And this detail here, that is this stone terrace, is that what that is right there, or is that the curb?
That's a street curb,
Okay, so this is the,
correct, correct.
okay. Any questions, guys? Anybody from the public here to speak to this? Your name, sir?
Theobald Joseph. Theobald Joseph.
You can come up to the.
Come out to the microphone to speak in, name, please.
Could you repeat your name, please?
Theobald. I does have a problem with building 83 on Main Street. I live on 81 Main Street. And whenever they have the toilet choke back up, the water would penetrate underneath to my boiler room. I've been going with that for a long time, but what happened? The owner and me had a good relationship, Benny. And you know, we work it out because we had a good relationship. But anytime you have a problem, they have a problem with that building, it's boiler penetrate.
So from understanding what you're saying, you're basically having an interior plumbing problem, there's an interior plumbing
Yes,
problem
yes.
at 83 that has to get dealt with.
Yes.
Because right now it's
he had some
leaking and-
people come and do some kind of sealing on lately. But anytime it backed up or you have a problem, it's in my boiler room. Because I recently did redo the whole entire house. And I've been here every day. I had a lot of problem with hair, with permit and all kind of stuff. And I had to do the whole house entirely over.
You're 81, maybe?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Okay.
he's on the lower side, so
So-
you know, obviously water runs downhill, so.
This is the building right here?
Yes, yes, 83. We have a whole problem with the plumbing, but everything is rotten. But anytime it choke, the water penetrate right in my boiler room.
So I'm guessing with all the work that's gonna happen here,
I didn't hear they mention nothing about plumbing or nothing. They
I
said
think
about
that's,
roof.
I think that's something that can be addressed by the applicant. I mean, certainly,
Well, I never complained because, as I said, me and Benny had a good relationship. And so we always work it out between the two of us.
yeah.
Well,
Well, a lot
I'll
of,
report this to Joe and
Yeah,
code
I
enforcement.
think-
This is a code issue, and it'll be taken care of. We'll make sure that it's
and
reported.
if Joanne can kind of consent to addressing any plumbing repairs or whatever needs, it sounds like just a worn out old waistline. I mean, it's,
Well, it's basically
I'd be happy.
gut renovation, and we're doing all new plumbing, bathrooms.
right.
Well, I'll have the, Damien, you want to speak to this as the owner?
Hi, I'm Damien Rossny. I'm Executive Director of the LLC that now owns the building. I also live here in Ossining. We've never spoken about this issue, I don't think, so I'm not exactly sure what its origin is. It sounds like he's talking about the interior plumbing somehow feeding into that. Right now, the structure, it doesn't have a basement. It's basically built over dirt, and the waistline is passing into that. We, as part of this renovation, I don't think it applies here because it's interior, but we want to correct that, improve that, I mean, to a slab, you know, an actual slab underneath the building. So I'm not aware of an existing plumbing issue with that. It's definitely something that we would want to remedy as much as anybody. It doesn't sound like you're talking about stormwater drain. You're talking about a problem with interior plumbing in the house when we back up.
Yes, yes.
I mean, that's something we want to fix too. But this is the first I'm hearing of it, so I don't know any
Certainly
details.
any sanitary sewer issues, plumbing line would get taken care of. And obviously, you guys are gonna be doing, I'm assuming, the gutters and leaders
Yeah.
and some drainage. So sort of sounds like all those things are gonna happen to the gentleman's, concern. So, okay.
That's where we
I
stand.
think that's, Joanne, anything else, Matt? or-
No, we are here to get approval so we can go on with construction documents, so we
Okay.
can solve all these issues.
Okay, with that said, could I have a motion?
A question.
Question? Okay, sure.
What kind of heating system do you have for this house?
Are we keeping the boiler? Are we,
I didn't hear the question.
what kind of heating system?
The heating system is currently gas-fired hot water baseboard. So I don't expect that to change.
Good question. I noticed that the smokestack, is that the heating system's smokestack?
Correct, yeah.
So the exhaust from the smokestack would be below the attic floor.
Yes, it's in the rear at the two-story portion of the house. Yeah, right there.
I'm just concerned about possible exhaust or get into.
Well, when we get into the construction documents, if it's code to raise it, we'll raise it.
I mean, that's typically something the building department would deal with, so.
But I mean, I think is your point aesthetically that it's, if it had to be raised, it's gonna be, if it has to go above the attic.
So if you see it above the ridge line of the roof, I guess.
2 feet away and 10 feet away from a window.
Right.
That's all it has to
Well,
be.
usually the code dictates how far it can be from a window or
Yeah.
cabins and stuff.
Just a question.
Yeah, okay.
We would continue it up with the same material and put a chimney cap on it. Probably stainless steel or some such thing.
Okay, so with that said, can I have a motion to approve as submitted?
Motion.
Michael, got a second?
A second.
Bob, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Closing the EAR, so we're gonna just adjourn, we're gonna jump to planning board now, so it's application 5-9, Atria, 321 North Highland Avenue.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm Adam Wexstein from the law firm of Cockerman, Porterella and Wexstein, here on behalf of the applicant. We have submitted, since the last meeting, some revised plans. In addition, we have gotten Mr. Hildebrand's firm, Kellard Sessions memo, and have submitted a responsive memo to that from our consultant, Kimley Horn, which hopefully you have received. In addition to that, as we had indicated to you, we have retained, Atria has retained an acoustical engineer who has looked at the equipment and has indicated what new equipment should be installed to actually mitigate the sound problem. And he's here to present to the board tonight. Also, he has a written summary. The testing, as I understand, was done a week ago, actually. So our goal was to let you understand where we are on the sound issue, to address any concerns you have that were raised in the Kellard session memo, and obviously to address any other concerns the board may have at this point. I don't know if you'd like to hear from our acoustical engineer first, or have us address the Kellogg Sessions.
We could, I guess let's just jump to Brian quick. I mean, we had a quick talk before the meeting started. It sounds like we're sort of on track. If you could just give us an overall
Right.
takeaway from what you guys reviewed.
Yeah, we did receive the revised package last week, which the applicant addressed the majority of our comments from our review memo. The outstanding comments, in our opinion, aren't really showstoppers or won't change the site plan in a planning board aspect that much. They have to do with the sewer approval. They have to go through the county health department and the DPW here just to verify sewer capacities, design a pump station for a sewer. So along the technical lines, some construction details that will be flushed out really during the construction plan phase. And what else? There was, again, plantings. You know, the overall stormwater was reviewed and is in conformance with the state and local codes, but as far as what plants are specifically going where, things like that still have to be finalized. So there's no real holdups, in my opinion, as far as advancing the application.
Right, my understanding is maybe there might be a comment or two from EAC, so if we move this thing along, whatever we do, I guess we would leave the door open for EAC to submit any comments, depending on what action they take tonight.
Because they'd have to give you a recommendation on consistency with the LWRP, which would then have to be put into your resolution.
Okay, so I guess with that said,
I mean, I could send a list of the outstanding comments. I could, you know, so the board knows and the applicant knows exactly what's remaining, and then they could work with us, you know, the village engineer, whoever, and the county health department, just to check the boxes as they complete.
We would hope that most, if not all of those, could be conditions in your approval. I mean, we will work to do what we can before we appear before you next time, since, as I understand, you'll be waiting for the EAC recommendation. So we will keep moving ahead. So we hope when the time comes.
yeah, I mean, I think as a board, we're comfortable with what, you know, you guys have presented, just sort of kind of crossing some T's and dotting some I's to get this finished up.
I would like to hear on the
Yeah,
sound
that'll,
issue.
Oh, absolutely.
on there next, so
Please.
floor is yours on the sound issue. And,
Yeah, this is Nate Perna from Longman and Lindsay, which are acoustical engineers, and I think he also has a handout for the board, which will be consistent with what he presents.
Hello. Yep, my name is Nate Parna from Longman Lindsay. I'm an acoustical consultant, working with Atria. Have our report that we issued, also a little background info on the company, just so you have it. Essentially, so yeah, it's two separate emails, so sorry about that. So essentially, last week we went out to Atria to conduct some measurements. In our report, there is a map showing where we took measurements, both on the roof and sort of all around the property line. And right now, what we're proposing is a new cooling tower to replace the existing dry coolers. So what we basically did was we took the sound data from the manufacturer, and we're projecting that out to the nearest residences. So it's on Eagle Bay Drive, Pondview Lane, and Mystic Drive, which the nearest residence, Eagle Bay Drive, is about 450 feet away from the proposed cooling tower location, and the others are around 600 feet. So we use that in conjunction with the sound data from the manufacturer for the proposed cooling tower to project the noise levels to the residences. And based on our analysis, we're finding that the cooling towers are going to result in a noise level around 35 dBA, and the code limit is 55. And it's also going to be quieter than what is there now. So we're estimating the current dry coolers, because we didn't have access to the properties, the residential property, around 45 to 48 dBA. And our cooling towers are coming in around 35 at the loudest.
So 35 is a decrease from where you are right now, noise-wise, or?
Correct. It's going to be about 15 to 20 dB quieter than what's.
Are you giving us things on the roof?
Correct. It's going to replace where the dry coolers are now in the exact same spot.
So they're staying up on the roof?
Correct. Yeah.
There's no way to move them outside, down to the bottom?
I can't speak to a different location, but the roof location is actually a relatively good location. There's very tall parapet walls on the side, which are sort of blocking the noise to the adjacent residences, sort of shooting it up instead of projecting it outwards. So from some of the photos from the ground level, you can kind of see that there really isn't line of sight right now.
I mean, the one issue too is over the years, since the last approval, I guess 10 or so years ago, whatever it was, 15 years ago, I mean, sort of the vegetation's grown, you've gotten sort of a filling in effect, so whatever plantings were done years ago, that filled in, and that's, I'm assuming that's also a little bit of a buffer too.
Correct, which we haven't accounted for in our calculations. Our calculations are purely distance related, so we would expect to get a little added benefit, but you know, to be on the conservative side, we didn't account for any of that. But the topography in general lends itself to help with the noise level reduction as well.
And where the expansion is there any equipment there that's going to run or hum or make a noise or anything? Is this with the expanded area, with the where the front of the building's going to be? Is there anything?
Don't believe so. Yeah.
Without any additional equipment.
Right, just the cooling tower.
Just the cooling tower will be changed.
And I wouldn't think that would affect the neighborhood because that's really closer to Highland Ave, so. Everybody's diligently pouring over this
Sorry,
wonderful text here. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with what they're proposing. We've got the data here to support that.
I just have a question, and there's not a picture in here of what the new cooling tower would look like, is that correct? Is this the existing?
Correct, that's all existing photos, yes.
Are they taller in height than what's there now, or?
Yes, they're going to be totally like.
But will they be, how, what will they look like?
I'm Sal Panico, I'm a consulting engineer for Atria, and we're involved in the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing design systems for the addition. And yes, the cooling tower will be higher, probably somewhere about 5-6 foot high. When we get into the final design of the equipment, we'll best know. At this point, we're looking at it at the design development end. We do have some selections of equipment, but we'll hone in on it in the very near future.
Do you guys have elevations now? Was there some talk about getting some elevations for VAR approval, or?
I think those were submitted at the beginning of the process.
Yeah, they were.
We were told, let's get them.
Okay. I mean, that would certainly show, what the new facade's going to look like or where the front is.
Yeah. There was also a presentation that was submitted that had it, although I don't know that it shows the new unit. And I'm not sure the new unit would be visible, but we can look at that and come back with our architect.
Appropriate screening and all that sort of thing can happen when we start looking for those elevations in the VAR.
So we'll have a second chance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the biggest thing is that the noise issue is going to be dealt with. And it sounds like they're bringing it down like 15 points or whatever, so that's a plus. Okay, so as far as process, I mean, what do we want to do? I mean, what's the pleasure of the board, what's council, what would you like to see us kind of do here? I mean, it sounds like we're waiting for some comments back from EAC.
You wait, well, yeah, because you need the consistency recommendation from the EAC, which hopefully, I expect that they will be meeting in August. We're not sure the date yet, but we'll get that in, and that can go back to you. That can form part of your site plan resolution, because you'll need that at the same time. It looks like, the question is, some of the conditions that they put into their letters, as Brian alluded to, will have to be a decision from this board if they want those as conditions within the site plan resolution. They seem reasonable, but
EAC is meeting before our next meeting, our next planning board meeting in August?
Their scheduled meeting date is August the 6th.
Okay. Okay.
We'll make sure that the meeting is before.
Right.
Yeah,
your
we're
next
working,
meeting.
I,
It's best that
we're trying to
really-
get a quorum.
Right.
August is such a hard month,
Yeah.
and we're trying to, right now, that meeting, a couple members can't make it, so we might
Right.
move that date.
But they did meet before, so the point is, there's one person who had a question, we may be able to work it, that person can get his resolution, then we
Yeah,
can put
get
something
written
together.
comments or whatever.
Then it's just a
Yeah,
matter of getting something to you folks,
Sure.
but you'll have it for your next meeting.
Right. Okay. So that's kind of where we are.
And you need to make a determination of seeker. It is an unlisted action to determine, if you're gonna
Right now, so
neg-
far, we've done determination of signatures for lead agency.
Yeah, you are lead agency.
No, you did get, no one objected.
No one objected. There were some comments, just basically, the New York State DOT said they had no comments, and they had no issue with it.
And the county had some comments which were responded to by the applicant, and
Okay.
Kelly got that as well.
So with that said, are you guys okay with adjourning till next month? We'll-
Yes, it sounds as if you need the EAC, and in the interim, we'll be prepared to have our architect here if the board has questions, the materials are in there. Or if there are other questions that the board thinks of, if you could let Tracy or Brian know, we'd like to be prepared to respond.
Well, I believe, like, again, next month, if everything kind of falls in place, we probably can move on site plan, and, you know, let's look at EAR as well, and
Correct.
kind of keep this thing moving along.
That would be great.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a good
you.
evening.
Thank you.
And I know we said Sing Sing usually is not.
Next month.
Okay.
They're adjourned, they could not attend tonight.
Yeah, I saw the written comments, so that was.
Sherry's in prison.
Same
Old
thing,
business,
isn't
new
it?
business, is there anything else?
Was it Seattle?
No, nothing else. He's in Seattle.
We need to approve the minutes from last month, so we could have a motion on that.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Bobby, get a second.
Yes. there's a-
Good. Jeff, all in favor? Great. Thank you.
folks.
That is it. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.